The Rolling Stones are undeniably one of the most influential rock bands in history. Known for their raw energy, rebellious attitude, and timeless music, they became a symbol of youth defiance and freedom during the 1960s. The Rolling Stones played a pivotal role in shaping the rise of counterculture, becoming the soundtrack of a generation seeking to break free from traditional societal norms. Their music, style, and public personas captured the spirit of the time, and their influence continues to resonate today. In the early 1960s, the world was in a state of flux. The post-World War II era had brought about significant changes in politics, technology, and culture. The youth of the time, particularly in the United States and the United Kingdom, began to rebel against the established social order. The counterculture movement was born out of this desire for change, challenging the conservative values that had dominated previous generations. In this turbulent climate, the Rolling Stones emerged as the quintessential rock band, embodying the rebellious spirit of the time. The Rolling Stones' sound was a direct reflection of the counterculture movement. Their early music drew from rhythm and blues, rock and roll, and American blues, but with a gritty, edgy twist that set them apart from other bands. Their raw, unpolished sound represented a break from the more polished commercial pop music that had dominated the charts in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Songs like Satisfaction and Paint It Black became anthems for a generation that was rejecting the norms and seeking something more authentic and expressive. At the heart of the Rolling Stones, countercultural appeal was their ability to connect with the youth through their lyrics and public image. The band's songs were filled with themes of rebellion, freedom, and disillusionment, which resonated with young people who were feeling alienated by the establishment. Sympathy for the Devil, for example, confronted the dark side of humanity, challenging traditional notions of good and evil. The band's ability to tackle controversial and taboo subjects in their music made them both celebrated and vilified by different sections of society. But it wasn't just the music that made the Rolling Stones so influential in the rise of counterculture. It was also their image. Led by the charismatic Mick Jagger, the band's rebellious attitude and androgynous style challenged traditional gender roles and defied the norms of what was considered acceptable. Jagger's on-stage persona, with his provocative dance moves and bold fashion choices, became a symbol of freedom and self-expression. The Rolling Stones were not just a band. They were a cultural force, shaping the way young people viewed themselves and the world around them. The band's infamous lifestyle, marked by their hedonistic approach to fame, drugs, and relationships, further cemented their status as icons of counterculture. They represented a rejection of the conservative values that had previously defined society, instead embracing a more liberated, chaotic way of life. Their behavior, both on and off stage, was often controversial, but it was this very defiance that endeared them to a generation hungry for change. One of the key events that solidified the Rolling Stones' place in the rise of counterculture was their involvement in the infamous Altamont Free Concert in 1969. The concert, which was meant to be the Woodstock of the West Coast, became a symbol of the dark side of the counterculture movement. The concert was marred by violence, culminating in the death of a concertgoer, and it highlighted the dangers of unchecked rebellion. Despite the tragedy, the event further cemented the band's association with the rebellious spirit of the 1960s. Throughout their career, the Rolling Stones have remained at the forefront of cultural change. Their music has evolved to reflect the times, but their core message of defiance and individuality has remained constant. They have never shied away from controversy, and their willingness to push boundaries in both their music and their personal lives has made them icons of counterculture. The impact of the Rolling Stones on the counterculture movement is immeasurable. They not only shaped the sound of rock music, but also helped define a generation that was rejecting conformity and seeking greater personal freedom. Their songs, their style, and their unapologetic attitude continue to influence musicians and artists today, making them one of the most enduring and influential acts in music history. The Rolling Stones are not just a band. They are a symbol of the power of music to challenge the status quo and inspire change. The legacy of the Rolling Stones is a testament to the power of counterculture, and their role in that movement is undeniable. Through their music and their public personas, they helped to define the spirit of the 1960s and beyond. They captured the hopes, fears, and desires of a generation that wanted to break free from tradition and create a new world. In doing so, the Rolling Stones became more than just a band. They became a cultural revolution.